Oh, what could have been. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down the West Virginia Mountaineers. We've got Skylar Callahan on the line from Dub V Nation to talk of the Mountaineers. Of course, the bowl games in a few weeks, and National Signing Day, the first edition, is just 5 days away. Skylar, how are you?
Doing pretty good, man. It's always a pleasure to be on with the voice of college football.
Well, I appreciate that. It's good to hear your voice as well. And we want to hear first and foremost what you thought of that 59-56 game. I can guess what you thought of it, but obviously it was that close to a Big 12 championship game appearance for the Mountaineers, but not quite.
Yeah, it was definitely a heartbreaking loss, and you knew kind of going into it that it was going to be that high-scoring affair, especially the old-fashioned Big 12. And a lot of the fan base is really disappointed with a 3-loss season. And, with the talent that this team had, you would expect it maybe a 1 or 2 loss year. But, at the end of the day, you go into that final game of the season with a chance to still play for a Big 12 championship. And, it's just, Dana Holgorsen is knocking on the door of that Big 12 championship. They're getting closer. The administration is happy with them. They love this stuff. They feel like the program's going in the right direction. So even though the fan base is unhappy and they're a little spoiled from those 11-win seasons in, the early 2000s, mid-2000s. It's going to take a little bit more time to get acclimated to the Big 12, but at the end of the day, like I said, they had a chance to play in the Big 12 championship. And who knows, if Will Greer only fumbles the ball once, you're in that game. So it just comes down to the little things.
And especially when you have to watch Texas, who you beat on the road, play in the Big 12 championship game, that's kind of difficult to take.
Yeah, definitely. And, it is what it is. The major thing I get from this fan base is that this is a mediocre football team. I don't understand, that verbiage quite much. I mean, I think this is a really good football team that just kind of fell short in a couple games. Sometimes it's going to happen. Sure,
it's a really good team. I don't know of who would have dubbed this team as an average team. They're 9-3. They lost by 3 points to a team that's playing in the college football playoff that we all watched the game, and it was a scoring circus. And as you mentioned, 2 strip sacks, touchdowns for the Oklahoma defense proved to be the difference. Otherwise, West Virginia is headed to the Big 12 championship game. They beat Texas, a team that is playing in a Sugar Bowl, beat them on the road. Iowa State's no joke. They play really good defense, probably the best in the conference. That's the way it goes. They're not an elite team, but they're extremely good. I feel comfortable saying they're one of the 15 best teams in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, I think this is, just a fan base that's just itching, for that first Big 12 title, that first national title. And, with the talent that we've had this year, it's obviously the most talent that Dana Holgorsen's ever had. So I can understand that frustration and the disappointment. But, when you look at this team and say, 8-3, 9-3 season, it's a pretty good year. You're going to send a lot of guys to the NFL this year and hope to continue to build in 2019.
Of course, I threw 9-3 out there. I'm just working on autopilot. Of course, they missed the game against North Carolina State. They're 8-3. Okay. Of course, they've got the Syracuse game coming up on December 28th at the Camping World Bowl down in Florida. So, on one hand, it doesn't sound like a marquee bowl level game. At the same time, that is that's the third or second place game for the ACC. It ranks fairly high, of course, for the Big 12, so there's some prestige there. Syracuse comes in at 9-3. They're ranked in the top 15 as well. So what was the reaction from yourself and the fan base to drawing this opponent in this bowl game?
Initially, when the game came out, I was a little disappointed myself. I was hoping that we could get an invite from the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
It was going to be a bit of a stretch, but I was hoping they'd see that Holgorsen-Leach potential matchup and just go all in on that. But again, it is what it is. We're playing. You got to play with whatever you got. So you're going to go to the Camping World Bowl. You're playing an old rival in Syracuse. That has me fired up because we don't get to play Syracuse in the near future. We got Pitt, Penn State on the future schedule, Virginia Tech, all the old rivals, but Syracuse isn't one of them. So this is an opportunity for us to play an old rival. And in a neutral site game, I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere, whether Will Greer's in or out. It doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a fun game. As far as the fan base, total letdown. They were also hoping it was the Alamo Bowl. They were hoping for much bigger things, obviously, New Year's Six or a playoff. But from what I'm gauging from the fan base, from what I was told, there was only 3,500 tickets sold in the West Virginia allotment so far, which is not very good. I know Syracuse has been selling those pretty good. They're in the 7,000 or 8,000 range. So it's going to be interesting to see how the fans split the stadium down there. I'm expecting probably more Syracuse fans at this point. I think this is a bigger game for them in their program right now than it is West Virginia. This is the first time that they can win 10 games, and I don't know how long. Dina Baber's done a great job turning that program around. This is I think his third season, last 2 years, 4 winning seasons. Now they're knocking on the door at 10 wins and able to do it against an old rival. So huge opportunity for them. This is maybe not as big of a game for West Virginia, but with Will Greer sitting out, this is going to be a great chance to kind of get a sneak peek of what you're going to see with Jack Allison in 2019.
Yeah, it's not as big a game for the Mountaineers. I don't think there's any question about that because of the expectations coming into the season. And it's not that they really fell that far short of expectations. This is probably the 3-loss regular season is probably about the average expectation, I would think, of anybody who knows and follows college football for this West Virginia team. But there was certainly an expectation from a large portion of people that they would break down the door, beat Oklahoma, get to the Big 12 championship game, and they were that close. And when you're that close, it's difficult to psychologically recover from that as a fan base. For the football team, I'm not going to guess what they are capable of doing or not doing. You many times see teams let up in these spots, but you also sometimes see them rally and play because they're competitors and they get out there, and once they're on the field, they're going to let it all hang out and give it all you got. Yeah, the Syracuse narrative, obviously coming off 4-8 seasons the past 2 years, is completely different. And this is the typical bowl setup. You've got one team with all the motivation in the world and the other team that might be a bit disappointed. You bring up Will Greer not playing. That might have factored possibly into the decision of the Alamo Bowl, anticipating that he would not play in that game and there would not be the fireworks that we would have West Virginia, Washington State. I don't know. Yeah, give us some thoughts about Jack Allison. Is this the Jack Allison who transferred from Miami?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I knew that name. Okay. What do we know about him?
This is going to be an interesting guy because, this is the biggest quarterback that Dana's had ever at WVU. He's 6'6". He's a little lanky, but he's got a strong arm. We saw him a little bit in the Baylor game earlier this year. He came in a little bit here, in different spots in mop-up role. But he was 6 for 10 for 75 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The one interception was right off the wide receiver's hands and just kind of got bad luck on Allison's part and got buffed up into the air. So I think, honestly, Jack Allison can do just enough in this game to be able to pull out a win. You got to think, Martell Pettaway, Kennedy McCoy, Letty Brown, Alex Sinkfield. There's 4 stable running backs, or 4, confident running backs coming into this game, if you're West Virginia, that you can kind of lean on and rely on. Plus, Gary Jennings and David Seals are going to play in this game, the 2 top wide receivers on this team. So he's going to be running with the ones. And, like I said, he's got a strong arm. He's not as athletic as Will Greer, but he's got a very, very good high football IQ. And this kid is really, really smart. I don't know how quick it's going to take for him to kind of latch onto this offense and really get a good grasp of it. But I would say by 2019, this is the best benefit. This is really a huge benefit, honestly, for Will Greer sitting out, because it gives Jack Allison an opportunity to start against a Power 5 team and be able to watch this game all off season long to see what he did right and what he did wrong.
We've got Skylar Callahan on the line from Dub V Nation. You got to join him right there. Follow him on Twitter as well for all your West Virginia football coverage needs. The Mountaineers, of course, at 8-3, taking on Syracuse in the Camping World Bowl.